Up is Enrico Bassi. Enrico is a designer, maker, and innovation consultant. He managed Fab Lab Italia, the first Italian Fab Lab. Fab Lab Torino, supported by Arduino, and OpenDot, founded by Design Studio IT. He is a professor of digital fabrication and participated in projects and lectures in more than 35 countries in the world. Give him and his talk, Beyond Medical Devices, What Communities Have Done Around the World, a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for the invitation. It already helps me to skip the first slide and jump to the second. So even if I'm a designer by training, I basically immediately moved into innovation and somehow openness without giving it a definitions, thanks mainly to these three people that you might recognize. So Neil Gershenfeld, the founder of the first Fab Lab in MIT, Massimo Banzi, co-founder of Arduino, that also supported the work we did in Italy. He was a huge help there. And Adrian Boyer, the professor that created the first open source 3D printer. So these people somehow lay down the foundations of what I worked on. And it was a long journey that included many things. A huge part was about healthcare somehow, but we define it health and care because actually the first thing I worked on in 2014 was a fork that helped people to roll spaghetti properly. In Italy, it's a big issue, of course. So this gave me the opportunity, thanks to an association that I helped starting called Hackability, to understand that people might get a huge boost in their daily quality of life just because of simple objects sometimes. We started in 2014. Back then I was in Fab Lab Torino in Turin. But the project went on and my interest in health and care went on. And it brought me to two main projects that are the two things I'd like to talk about. The first one is Careable. This is a project started thanks to a European grant. So we got public money to understand how to help people to create their own solutions, but also how to share them. This started in 2017, officially at the beginning of 2018. So it was a while ago. Careable is actually a collection of documentations. We spent a lot of time figuring out how to help people to document. Everybody needs documentations. Nobody likes to do it. So how can we make it a bit easier? And a lot of the conversations was on, okay, let's figure out templates. Let's help out with licensing. That it's such a complex things nobody fully understand. And we needed a license for the documentations because that goes in more in the Creative Commons area. And we need a license for the hardware because that's a different things. And software has a different license too. So it was a bit of figuring out the complexity of the word. We worked on creating a template, again, that supported people. The idea was to make things homogeneous. Andrew didn't came up yet with his standards on documentations, so we had to think about it in this way at the beginning. Again, step by step, and we ended up having more than 100 projects on the platform. We figured out that nobody wants to move to your platform. Everybody's comfortable in their own home. So if they start things from scratch, then it's good to give them tools. If they don't want to document things from scratch, let's not force them to redo things or to maintain projects on different platforms. So the point was, how can we at least summarize things and have a sort of directory of projects and idea, and then everybody will go on with their own platform and way of documenting things. This is a bit of a bittersweet story because, as you might know, maintaining a platform is tricky, and at the moment, the things you see here are not online anymore. We are trying to figure out a new home where to move them, but the material is still there, so nothing got lost. It's just not available at the moment. The second project that was somehow coming out of this, and it was a sort of second side of Careable, is FabCare. FabCare has been started by a group of people, mainly 2 labs in Europe. One is Open Dot, that is the lab I used to manage, and the second one is FabLab Camp Limford in Germany. It's still an active group. The idea of FabCare was, let's define what we believe in and see if there are people believing in the same things, so we can do a piece of the path together and walk together. It turned out that there's a lot of people interested in what we were interested in. And we thought about how to help people to navigate this health and care world. We figured out that you can do basically 10 different things in the field, starting from very simple one to very complex one. This was a way for us to explain to people to don't jump straight into the tough stuff if you haven't, let's say, explored easier things. Each step you find on the platform is described with a bit of examples. Many of the examples you see here comes from things you heard about during these 2 days, and I'm very happy about it. For instance, when you start to replicate, it's good to know that there are many platforms, again, that collected open, maybe not fully open, but documented health and care projects. And we listed like 50 existing platforms. So the point is more, how can we merge them together or connect them together more than start the 51st. Some are very active, some a bit less, and that's another thing. How can we keep things rolling? The second part is about how to involve people. Again, I'm a designer as a background, so to me, the key point is the design process, in a sense of starting from a real need, from a real category of people, and find an effective solution for that. So the key approach that we used is participatory design or co-design. And we shared all the documents that we were using during the processes. Sometimes people don't understand that they are not, how to say, when they interview users are a bit too direct. That could be offensive, or you're speaking about a very sensitive topic. So even giving suggestions on how to run an interview was important. We did innovation process with doctors, help them to collect the daily problems that they were facing, the daily needs that they had was the starting point and catalyst to think about innovative projects. So the community at the moment is growing. Every time we do events and activities, we ask people if they want to join the group. The way we communicate at the moment is a simple WhatsApp group. Might not be the best tool, but is very widely used around the world. So it's a good compromise. At the moment, there's like 150 people in the group, in the chat from around the world. I tried yesterday to check out a bit of the nations, and after a while I gave up, but I was up to 30 more or less. So it's a nice group. If you want to join it, feel free to do so. We are happy to welcome people. We also want to use the group as a way to put in contact people that are working on similar things. I will get to this towards the end of the presentation. There are topics that are recurrent, and people really struggle to cooperate, and I will get to that as well. So the community, again, is wide. I will give you just some example. This is Marcela, a recently graduated student from Peru, and her project was a way to learn and to train for Braille. So she developed the entire project, the software, the hardware, and everything is published online. Sonoko from Japan, she is the manager of a Fab Lab Shinagawa, that since day one worked a lot on occupational therapy. We got the chance to do a project together in Bhutan a few years ago. Everything is properly documented in Japanese, but nowadays not such a big deal anymore. So it's a great example of a place that focused on a specific topic and from healthcare professionals, so from an occupational therapist. Another amazing human being that many people in this room might know is Saad from Savage Garden. It's a beautiful place inside the library in Shanghai. No, sorry. Oh God, it will come back to my mind. I'm sorry, Saad. Anyway, so the lab is actually open once a week. The idea is to base everything on volunteering, and they gather together and create a solution for a person per week. They work on few projects at a time, but they are very consistent. So it's a very, very nice approach. I love the term healthware, because for many years we were thinking, how can we define everything that is an object or a piece of software, but there's something as a product there that is connected to health and care. And we tried with the term careable, thinking about instructables connected to the idea of documenting things, but it wasn't clear. While I think that healthcare, even if it might sound a bit technical, it's a great definitions. And this is what I've seen personally could fit inside that. It's my opinions, of course, so I'm happy to talk about it. First of all, simple assistive devices, object that might help you to grab a pen and write. Glypho is a beautiful project started with a foundation in Milan called TOG. They do therapy for free for more than 100 kids with complex neurological disease, amazing human beings. This has been developed together with Open Dot, the former lab I was managing. And the interesting thing is that there is an entire customization process you do online. So the parents of the kids can follow instructions, take pictures, figuring out the right angle, personalize the object, and get what they need. Again, the key point here is not 3D printing a way to hold a pen. We have 1,000 of those, but it's to empower people to be independent in the process. Again, another project done with this TOG Foundation. This was a postural seat for one of their kids. It was meant to allow this girl to actually touch the ground and walk around a bit, using the limited mobility she had, holding the right position. But the interesting thing is that it was very respectful of the process they have to work on things, because they use the Metayer method that is based on creating plasters by hand, custom made on the kid need, that is of course the posture, the limited mobilities that they have, and so on. And to them it's important to do things by hand, because you cannot 3D scan the body and modify that. You will not have the sensitivity to feel the proper positions, the tensions in the joints, and so on. So we kept the same process. We just digitalized the cast that they make, modified slightly to be printed with a larger printer, and create custom solutions like this. Another great field is the medical trainers. We've seen some examples yesterday. Few years ago, the Apropedia platform ran a project together with many partners. One that was actually supporting economically the project was the Intuitive Foundation. And the objective was to design and share open medical trainers. Now, personally, I believe that medical trainers are a great fit in the healthcare category, because it's such an impactful tool, in particular in some areas. And sometimes it's very easy to make it. So when we calculate somehow the impact over costs, it's a very advantageous thing. I don't know why, as an Italian, I jump in complex English words, but forgive me for that. So medical trainers, again, fundamental thing. Now Apropedia is working on a new project. I don't know how much I can say about it, but we worked together on that, that it's connected on its sort of next step. That would be an open database of tools in this direction. Rehabilitation and training, huge field. This was during COVID. The rehabilitation process was interrupted because kids could not leave their own room to go to the gym in the hospital. So together with a local hospital in Milan, we developed again, when I was in Open Dot, this training kit that you've seen. Every piece can be assembled, disassembled, scaled, moved. Everything can be handled by a single person, and so on. And everything was designed on the needs of the therapists. So doing therapy for some conditions is fundamental, is the only way to mitigate the problems of those conditions. So supporting a customized therapy is incredibly impactful. Oh, okay. I'm not sure why, but that's okay. I can move forward. So limiting the capability of students to actually learn things has a long life impact, of course. So when the disabilities or the health conditions impacts kids, the consequences might be worse. This project is a super nice project. I'm very proud to have been part of this. It was a few years ago in Bhutan. Bhutan has a set of schools for students with special needs, but they had no program to, let's say, create projects, create objects that supports the students. So we spent a week together there. Our objective was to empower the local students to learn how to create the solutions, figuring out where to find existing products again. You've seen Sonoko, how to repair with the local tools the existing aid. We created Braille printer. That is an open project. Again, Sad was working on this. We created simple communication boards. We created custom-made soles for the kids. So it was really about exploring different aspects and do a one-to-one project. The interesting thing is that recently I saw that the project is going on, so it means that it was effective. And again, the idea was to create a STEM program for the university students. We gave them a plan on how to move forward. Apparently, it worked well. Beside being a maker and a designer, I'm a visiting professor in different universities, and I figured out over the years that for many students that might not be passionate about technology per se, healthware is a great way of engaging them. You give them a reason why we should do what we do. So over the years, I ask my students to design things that they find useful for someone they know. And every year is a surprise. This was a couple of years ago. A group developed a sort of transportable fridge for insulin because one student had a younger brother with diabetes, and it was a limitations on how long he could travel because he need to keep the insulin pen cold. So they basically hacked a thermos cup, I guess it's the name, and sensing the temperature inside, activating a Peltier cell to reduce the temperature, use an external power source, and that was a simple project, but very effective. Another nice one was to motivate kids with arthritis that sometimes hits in the younger age to do therapy. So they transformed the controller for video games into a glove that check if you're doing your exercises for the articulations of the hands and everything. And if you do it properly, the games goes on. Otherwise, it stops. It was a way to push kids to do boring movements for hours a day. I think it's useful because of two different things. You got the output of the product that might be a brilliant idea and you might want to bring it on, but you also got the outcome of the learning and the empowering of the people that you work with. Very often disability is invisible, in particular in some cases. So you might want to create kits that can help people to see things that might not be visible. Again, arthritis gives you pain that is not visible sometimes. So experiencing the same conditions helps to create empathy. And this was for the National Associations of People with Arthritis. Another nice example is that big projects like ventilators might have consumables that are harder to get. So you might get in some remote areas big machines that then stops to work because you end up without pipes, or in this case without nasal cannulas. This project was done by the Polytechnic of Milan. They developed a low-cost oxygen concentrator, and we helped them, again, with a team of students, to create a local production or a way to produce locally hundreds and hundreds of reusable nasal cannulas for babies. So this is the final results. I'm sorry for the quality of the video, but this is really ongoing now, so I picked up the last version. You can 3D print the mold, inject it with a syringe, 3D print a part that holds that. Everything is disassemblable, so you can disinfect it and reuse it. Now, it's a super small object, super cheap one as well, but it might be the thing helping the machine go on longer. Sometimes you get the money for the machine because of donations, but you don't get the money for consumables. So you have to be creative on that. Okay, closing up. I noticed over the year that some topics are recurrent. So one of the things that seems to pop up more and more and more and more are prosthetics. But everybody seems to start from scratch. This was a project that we did in Bali. In Bali, there were already 3D printing experts and professors that knew how to 3D print on one hand and design on the other. But there was no system in place. So the dots, the ingredients were there, but they were not connected. What we figured out was a way to connect the pieces to create a sort of ecosystem. Amputations are unfortunately very common in Bali, mainly because of traffic accidents. So it's something that is needed, but there's no good solution in place. So starting from existing open projects, the students were learning how to use the machines, cooperating with the doctors in the local center to take the measurements of the patients, sending back to the main universities that were collaborating on the projects the dimensions. They were customizing the file, send the file back locally. The local team was printing the pieces and bringing it to the center. So again, the idea of how to create the system more than thinking about new technical things. This was basically the tools that we ended up making. Another nice lab in the network is working on similar things. These people are in Amman, and you might know why it's needed at the moment to focus on oh, that's a pity though, on prosthetics. I'm sorry about the pictures, I don't know why, but you can see one girl from Gaza actually to test out her new prosthetics. And again, the hardware there, it's super simple. The solution exists, but you have to create the systems and foster collaborations. So closing up, this is my personal opinion. During the last FAB event that happened less than a month ago, both Prusa and Banzi were saying that open hardware is not doing well. They were speaking about it in different situations, in different interviews, so it wasn't like one impacted the other. They were basically saying that some of the collaboration mechanisms that we were hoping for are not fully working. Many people don't contribute on open hardware, and open hardware is very different from open software, of course. So the rules are different, the way to distribute things is different, managing the versions is different. So it's a thing to think about. And if I should think about why, in my opinion, we should use open hardware, or what's my why for the open hardware, I think that it's a way to provide a solution to the need of people in some context at least. But it's also a way to give jobs to some of the people close to the people that need something. So start to decentralize this idea that the best way of producing a solution and distributing a solution is a big factory with high production capabilities. And when you think about that, then patents becomes a tool of the past, at least in this specific context, because it was created to give time to factories to scale up production. So open hardware, in particular, open healthware, might be an opportunity to think about a new model where production ideas, solutions start again from the local needs. Creating local jobs and distributing the production also means to create something that is more resilient to change. If someone drops out of the production, it's not impacting the entire supply chain. If someone change career, is not such a big deal. If some countries has regulations that stop something, the others can go on, and so on. So it might be an answer to the complexity that we are facing. The last point is to facilitate collaborations. Many research centers, many universities needs problem to work on. It's actually a way to, again, engage students, bring on research, while in other places you might not have the resources to do those experiments. So figuring out also collaboration models might be interesting in that direction. So this is my hope. This could be an opportunity to think about maybe even something that is not necessary open source the way we imagined it or the way we are used to, but it's a tool that starts from a different need. So if patents started as an answer to the problem of giving factories time to scale up production, and open source as a reaction to the closeness of that system. Open source is a reaction to a system that is not what we want anymore. So somehow, maybe open source started not as what we need. If you think about the beginning of internet, it started as a way to communicate between researchers. It didn't start as an international tool of collaboration or communication. And we pay the cost of that naive approach today, thinking about how difficult it is to create safe communications or certified communications or verified sources. It's because it wasn't there by design. So if we think as Open Healthware as a new way to create a collaboration platform that is based on rules, that is based on licensing, that is based on exchange tools, it might end up to be different from what we imagine as open source today. And that would be great, in my opinion. Thank you very much.